Hey guys, Wes here from RockyMountainATVMC.com, and these are my top 5 must-have mods for the Yamaha WR250R. So we've had our WR for a few years now, and we've definitely learned to love this little thing. It's definitely one of the smaller displacement bikes in our dual sport lineup, but this thing is surprisingly capable. It's hauled me from Utah all the way down to Death Valley and back, and plenty of other longer adventure rides without ever skipping a beat. So if you're looking into maybe picking one of these bikes up, maybe you already own one, these things are a great commuter bike stock, but if you plan on doing any adventure riding or really any longer riding, you're gonna need to do a few things to really any bike to get it set up for that. So you're gonna need some things like full coverage wraparound handguards, some aggressive off-road style foot pegs, a full coverage skid plate, some aggressive off-road tires, some auxiliary lighting, and a full luggage setup. But the 5 things that I want to focus on in this video are 5 things that are really specific to the WR250R. So the first thing I want to talk about on this bike is gearing, and there's a couple big reasons to change the gearing on this bike. First is if you have any headwind or really any incline in the road, you're gonna automatically be shifting into 5th, sometimes 4th if it's bad enough. So that's my first reason. The second reason is if you're riding this thing seriously off-road using all the suspension, the chain will actually start to eat into the bottom of the swing arm, which is no good. So the stock gearing setup on this bike is a 13 tooth in the front and a 43 tooth in the rear. That's about a 3.3 gear ratio. What we did to our WR is we went up 1 in the front, a 14 tooth, and 6 in the rear, a 49 tooth. That makes it about a 3.5 gear ratio, and that does a couple things for us. It gets the chain away from the swing arm a little bit, and it prevents the chain from eating into the swing arm, and it gears the bike down a little bit, so it makes 6th gear a lot more usable. Now, one problem on the WR that I want to mention real quick is the speedometer is already off from the factory, and gearing it down makes it worse. So I'm always running my GPS with me just so I have a better idea of what speed I'm actually running. And from what I've found, it's about 10 miles per hour off. So when the bike says I'm doing 70, I'm actually cruising along at about 60 miles per hour. So the second thing I want to talk about with the WR is the larger fuel tank. Now, this is something I'd normally group with the things that any adventure bike's gonna need, but the stock tank on the WR was pretty small, and a larger fuel tank is a must-have, and that's why it made our top 5. So there's a couple cool things about this IMS 4.7 gallon fuel tank. It's huge. I'm getting anywhere from 2 to 250 miles per tank, depending on my riding conditions. And another cool thing about it is it actually comes with an internal fuel pump that's got hoses ran to both the bottom of each shroud that pulls fuel and feeds the stock fuel pump. So you can literally suck this thing dry. It's got a slimmer design that's not uncomfortable to ride with, and it doesn't look too bad either. So this is definitely a top 5 for this bike, especially when we're riding in Nevada, where it's not uncommon to have 200 plus miles in between your fuel stops. So number 3 on my top 5 list for the WR is stiffer springs. Now, this thing's got pretty soft suspension to begin with. Both the front and the rear need work, especially the rear is pretty soft. So we added a higher spring rate in the forks and the shock as well to handle the extra luggage in the back and our aggressive riding style. We ride mostly off-road, and this thing is way better now. So we have a couple different options for you to choose from on our website. We also give you recommendations for your rider weight and the extra luggage weight that you're carrying as well. So number 4 on my list is bars and risers. The stock setup on the WR is pretty low and weird feeling, so to swap that out, I went with a set of big bar adapters, and I mounted a set of Tusk chub bars in the YZ bend. And that just makes this bike way more comfortable to ride. It's way better standing up off-road. So another thing I want to mention is the aftermarket seat we put on this thing. We went with the seat concept seat, and when you're on the bike all day, it just makes riding way more comfortable. All right guys, so my 5th and final tip for the WR is a Tusk top rack. So whether you're a commuter on this bike or a serious adventure rider, every WR owner should own one of these. They're made of lightweight, durable powder coated aluminum, and they give you a way to securely strap down your gear. Now I'm also running the Tusk Pannier Rack setup, and I can either run hard boxes on these things or I can mount the soft bags that I've got on right now. And this is just a convenient way to carry all my gear. It's easy to install as well. So that's my top 5 for the WR250R. We've actually got a bike build video on this thing, so if you haven't seen that already, go ahead and check that out. We've also got plenty of other adventure videos to get you motivated to get out and ride. So subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, and check out our website for all the parts, apparel, and accessories. Thanks for watching.